I'm outside of historic Memorial Coliseum where Kentucky just beat Morehead State 75-59 in what was like a really slow start for Kentucky. Like they get down, I want to say like 13-4, 13-5 to start the game. And then in the first half, Kentucky goes on a 21-4 run. You know, that's their first big run of the game. In the third quarter, they go on like a 14-1 run. This game, again, it was a really slow start. Like it was kind of painful to watch, to be honest, for the first 10 minutes. I know if you're watching on TV, all you really saw was the red screen of death that, 50 people texted me about, so that was fun. But overall, man, like for the game, there's a lot of improvement to be had, right? Like for this team, there's a lot that they just have to work on both ends of the floor. I think offensively, you kind of saw things kind of just stall out a little bit. I think there's a very clear difference when you have Georgia Amore point guard and when you don't. Now, I'm not saying Toni Morgan's bad, and that not even that she's not going to figure it out, because I'm sure that she will. But 1 minute. Don't move that backpack. All right, there we go. I want to be able to get back inside the venue and actually do my coverage, so that's nice to see. All right, thank God. Please leave. There we go. That's going to stay in the rapid reaction. So for me, watching the game, on offense, when you watch Toni, like, it's just clear the team hasn't really played a ton together, and it's clear they've only really played against themselves, Illinois in that secret scrimmage, or close scrimmage, whatever you want to call it, and then now tonight against Morehead State. I thought it was interesting in his post-game press conference, Kenny Brooks was like, "We are not built for Morehead State." Now, when you hear that, it's like, you're trying to say like Morehead State's better? You're trying to say that we can't beat Morehead State? That's not what he's saying. He's saying that Kentucky, you build the roster for SEC play, right? You don't build the roster for non-conference play. And these Morehead States of the world are going to have much smaller guards, much quicker guards, much smaller teams in general. That may be a bit harder for our team to guard. Which kind of, I'm not going to lie, guys, I think about that Belmont game on the road, and Belmont's a really good team. I don't know the results of that game at the time of me recording this, but I know it was like a 2-point game against Oklahoma. So, number 6 Oklahoma, that is. So, like, we got to play Belmont on the road, and they just took Oklahoma down to the wire. Like, that may be a scary game for us. But, again, there's just so much to improve. On the offensive end of the floor, again, I already brought up the Toni Morgan thing, but I thought she played decently well. 15 points for her, I think 4 assists. Got to cut down the turnovers a little bit, but again, I think it's stuff outside the stat sheet. Go Cats! There we go. Some stuff outside of the stat sheet that, I think I want to see improve just a little bit. These folks do not look very happy. They smiled, and then I said, "Go Cats," and now they're like sad walking away. I guess I brought down their mood. I don't know. Look, to be fair, I think Kenny Brooks after the game was even like, "Look, dude, I'm not trying to be negative, but I don't know what positive there is to take away right now." I asked him that in the post-game press conference. I was like, "Hey, man, I know you want to work on some things, but, is there anything you liked from yourself?" And he's like, "Phoenix, I don't know." All right, I don't know. Jordan Obi. I mean, she's like the big good story from the game. There's helicopters above me now. 15 points, 15 rebounds from her. Claire Strack also had 15 points, 15 rebounds. Reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year, had 3 blocks and 3 steals to add to that. Really liked what I saw to Jordan Obi. On the offensive end of the floor, you can really see she's put on a lot of muscle, right? Like, she's out there bullying people, getting, 15 rebounds for a guard. And I know she, is 6'1". She played the forward a bit at Penn, averaged like 7 rebounds a game there. But I'm interested to see, okay, can we carry this on throughout the season a little bit? Can we see Jordan Obi be physical and fight for these rebounds in the paint? And it's crazy because even then in the press conference, Kenny kind of looked at Jordan Obi. It was him and her in the press conference. Someone brought up something about rebounding. He just looked at her like, because he still wants more out of her and he wants more out of this team. Asia Boone, who I thought did really great outside of the shooting, right? I think she started the game 0 for 4. I think she made 1 or 2 threes kind of towards the end of the game. For her, you just kind of got to start to see those shots fall down, right? Like, for Asia Boone, like, the reason you are brought here is to make shots. And it's great. Like, again, I thought she played pretty good defensively in her time on the floor. I think she even ended the game. Instead of Tiani Key being in, they ended with Asia Boone. She played 26 minutes. I believe Tiani played 17 or 18. So that's interesting. Tiani, not a great game from her. Of course, in my game preview article, I wrote that she'd be my MVP pick. And, of course, that ended up being the worst take of all time. So it's just, again, you just want to see this team get better. Amelia Hassett, Tiani Key, like those are two players in particular who I need to see more out of. The bench situation to me is still interesting because, well, number one, let me address this. We're 5 minutes in and I haven't said this, and I probably should have. I posted it on Twitter before the game. Elsa Vadfors did not dress out against Morehead State. There was no reports of an injury or anything. I hadn't heard that behind the scenes. And so I asked Kenny Brooks during the post-game press conference, I was like, hey, man, noticed she wasn't dressed out. Just want to ask what's going on. She being red-shirted. Do you know what's going on? You know, have you seen them? And he just goes, and Kenny basically said, we don't know yet. Not that they don't know if she's injured. She's not injured. Let me throw that out the window. She's not hurt. But I think with Elsa Vadfors, she has such a long way to go at this point. I think they're trying to decide in the moment, do we want to redshirt her or not? And of course, this isn't like college football where you can play, I think it's 4 games and still get your red shirt. If you play a single game or a single minute, and women's college basketball and men's basketball and basketball in general, you can't redshirt. So I think that's something they're wanting to, you know, they want to be able to have that option to redshirt her if they so please to. Again, was really pleased with Tony. Tony on the offensive end, some. Jordan Obi and Claire Strack were obviously your 2 big shiners. I thought Josie Gilvin came in and gave a few productive minutes. I know she only played, I think, you know, I don't even think she got 10 minutes in. But I liked what I saw from her. Same thing from Lexi Blue a little bit. I think this team, first of all, I think it's fair to say you can be worried a little bit about 3-point shooting. I wouldn't be worried about this team as a whole, but you know, they shot, I believe it was like 16% from 3. And we saw the starting 5 kind of struggle with that consistently last season. Well, now you bring back a starting 5 of Tony Morgan, who shot 23.5% at Georgia Tech. Jordan Obi, who shot 38% at Penn, but okay, there's one player. And then you have Amelia Hassett, Tiani Key, and Claire Strack, who, you know, theoretically can all shoot the ball pretty well, but we didn't quite see that last season. And we didn't really see it tonight either. So I think you have to be worried, or at least you can be worried about, can this team consistently hit the 3? Can they hit shots? Because again, I think the bench can shoot pretty well. Like I think Asia still got it. I know tonight wasn't quite her night. You saw Kaylin Carroll provided some really good minutes, I thought. Made a few shots. You know, is Kenny going to play the bench enough to where you see, okay, if Amelia is not making 3s, well, hopefully Josie is, or if Tony isn't making them, well, hopefully Asia is. Are you going to see him play enough of the bench? You know, I think we did see that tonight. Asia Boone played 26 minutes, again, because she did a lot of really positive things kind of outside of just shooting the ball. Again, I think she has to make those shots, though, especially if they're open. But, you know, I stand out here freezing cold, no gloves, no nothing. It's a lot colder than you'd think it is out here. And at the end of the day, you know, I think I'm still feeling pretty positive about the game. Like 75-59, a 16-point win is not, it's not the number that you want to see. Like you look at that stat and you're like, ugh, that's ugly. But guys, at the end of the day, Kentucky's 1-0. And, you know, you didn't get upset. You know, you aren't Boston College losing to Holy Cross. Like, you won the game. Credit to Ashton Feldhouse and Morehead State. They're going to be really, you know, I don't know like how good they'll be this year, but she's going to have that program rolling in a couple of years at least. I think they're coached really well. You know, again, non-conference play is so weird, especially these first few games in the season, because Kentucky doesn't know what they are. Nobody really knows what they are. There's jitters. There's, you know, we haven't really played together. We're still working on chemistry. Point being, it is a very, very long season, right? It is game numero uno. And first of all, you're 1-0. But it is numero uno. Okay, we still have 29 more regular season games left, the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. there's a lot of improvement to be had until March. And to me, I think that's really exciting because I think this team's potential, even with some minor concerns, at depth and shooting and stuff like that, I think this team can end up being pretty dang good. I'm Phoenix Stevens outside of historic Memorial Coliseum. I wonder if they're ever going to put historic out here or not. Actually, I hope they don't, because that would kind of ruin the look of the building a little bit. But regardless, I'm out here about to get back inside. Thank God UK guy didn't move my backpack. Again, 75-59 victory for Kentucky. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.